Erev Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Chanukah Sameach. Enjoy, but the day is short, so we have to. It's 9:45 already. We're already a half hour late, so we have to start. It's Yadua from Tzadikim. The Torah already brings it down that every time a parasha falls together with a holiday, we are sure that there are a lot of lessons that we can learn out from the parasha and connect it to the holiday. I heard this week a beautiful thought that I would like to start off sharing it with everybody. It says that Yosef was delayed being in jail for an extra 2 years. As the parasha starts off, and the question is, why was he delayed 2 years? So the Midrash says, that she says, that because he asked the Sara Mashkim, the leader, the secretary of drinks, the Sara Mashkim, to remind Paro to free him, Hashem added 2 years until the Sara Mashkim forgot about him. And the question is, what did Yosef do wrong by doing some type of ishtadlut to try to get out of the cell? And the Mesilat Yesharim quotes how Hashem is so careful with a tzaddik, how he's medagdek echut ha'sa'ara, that every time a tzaddik does something, if it's not 100% perfect, so then he gets punished for it. I heard a beautiful thought this week that said, if you realize Yosef, that Paro was able to commute sentences, and he was a little bit the way he commuted sentences, it was like Biden. He didn't have too much brains. Yosef HaTzadik heard the dreams of the Sarim, of the secretaries, and he saw that the baker is going to die and the butler is going to live. Is there any reasoning why the butler is going to live and the baker is going to die? So the Midrash says that he should have been more careful. But the bottom line is, all of a sudden, Paro decided to free him. He commuted his sentence. Like today, they commute sentences without any logic. You can be a big killer and they still commute your sentence. And even if you're killed in jail, they commute your sentence. Tepesh, stupid guy. Yosef HaTzadik should have relied on Hashem that he could have made the stupid guy free him also. The same way he freed the butler, he could have freed me. He should have learned from that alone. So why do you have to go make ishtadlut? Every time you have to go and try when you're dealing with normal people. When we're dealing with crazies, Paro was a crazy, like we have a president, so he was the same thing. So I should have just done away with him. Teretz says that's why it was a little bit lacking in his emunah, in Hashem Yitbarach, in his level, not in our level. In our level where we're so far away from them. But at least to learn a lesson that as much as a person could ingrain in his nature to rely on Hashem, he has to work on it. Now it says further in the parasha that when Yosef HaTzadik met the brothers, he says to them, I'm going to take them in jail for 3 days. Zod asu v'chyu et ha'elohim ani yareh. He was fearful from God. The Midrash says in Bamidbar, et Hashem Elokecha tira, you have to have fear of God. And he says, who's the person who has an example? One of the examples of somebody who fears God is is Yosef HaTzadik, because it says, Et Elohim ani yareh. The Ksav Sefer explains what was the uniqueness in the fear of God that Yosef HaTzadik had, and we'll say it with a little introduction. When Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they were the three big prophets. What was their punishment? From the king of Nebuchadnezzar, he threw them into the burning fire, to Kivshan Ha'esh. And what happened? They were sitting there enjoying themselves. They walked out, they walked out with not even a scratch, not even a burn. Nebuchadnezzar saw such a wonderful thing happen. What did Nebuchadnezzar do? He started saying praises to Hashem. And the Midrash says that those praises to Hashem could have been greater than of David HaMelech. What happened? The Malach came and smacked him on the mouth. He gave him a smack on the mouth, the Malach, right? All of a sudden, he gave him the smack on the mouth, he stopped him. So everybody learns, the pashtus of the Midrash is, that they stopped the Nebuchadnezzar from saying the praise. So Reb Shabsi the Levit, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, asked a question. Somebody's praising Hashem, why are you smacking him on the mouth? Why are you stopping him? Because you want him to not be better than David HaMelech? If he wants to do it, let him. So he says such a beautiful thought. Nebuchadnezzar, what did David HaMelech say praise? Mazmor, his son, Avshalom, wanted to kill him. Right? David HaMelech had a son, his name was Avshalom. Avshalom wanted to kill him. What did he do when he wanted to kill him? Start saying Shira. He starts praising Hashem. Shaul HaMelech wanted to kill him. He praises Hashem. He's running in the cave. This guy wants to kill him. David HaMelech was running away like a chicken without a head. And still, what did he do? Praise Hashem. Nebuchadnezzar was ready to praise Hashem when things were going good. Says Reb Shabsi, the minute he got a smack, I can't praise Hashem. It wasn't that the smack stopped him from praising Hashem. It was this that he got the smack, made him say, I can't, I'm calling it quits with God. You know why? When do I run to Hashem? When things are good in my life. But the minute that things are a little challenging, okay, Hashem, I'll see you next week. That's what he says. He didn't stop him. Yosef HaTzadik was sold by his brothers. He went through a hard life. He went through, he gets a good job. What does she say? He's accused of doing a sin. Where does he end up? In jail. What a beautiful life. He was with his father, beautiful, had a good time. Now he's sitting there in jail. Would you like it? No. Would anybody like it? No. But does he still praise Hashem? Et Elohim ani yareh. He had every reason to throw in the towel. But still he said, no, I'm feared of God. And says the Ktav Sofer, that's why we learn from him what it means to fear God. It's not we only have God in our lives when things go good for us. We have God in our lives, we praise Hashem, even when things are challenging. Now we'll get a little bit closer to the concept of Chanukah. What is the highlight of Chanukah? The highlight of Chanukah is we have these candles lighting. Everybody lights the candles. We sing by the candles, and we enjoy the candles, and we look at the candles. But what is the real miracle of Hanukkah, if you think about it? It's that we won the war. The Greeks were out there to destroy the Jewish people. Now I want to ask you something. I want to kill you, and you get stopped from killing you. And then, besides that, I give you a gift card to Judaica Plaza, $180. Now let me ask you, what are you going to thank me for? for saving your life or the gift card for $180?
For both.
For both. But where would the main focus be on?
Saving life.
Saving the life. If you realize in Modim, when we read Modim, we don't mention a word about the miracle of the lights. It doesn't mention one time that it lit for 8 days. All we thank Hashem for in Modim is that Hashem saved our lives. Masata giborim biyad chalashim, rabim biyad ma'atim, that we fought the war. And that's really should be the focus of thanking Hashem. Because they wanted to kill you. So they killed you. So I'm asking you, so there was a miracle of 8 days. What's a bigger miracle in my eyes? The miracle is the war, that my life was spared. And all of a sudden, the highlight is the candles. You hear the question? If I saved your life, isn't that more important? Much more important. So Hashem made another miracle of life. So that's a good gesture, beautiful. But what I should really, the main focus should be on the war. But we see that the biggest focus is on the candles. And because it's late and it's Erev Chanukah, and we have to already almost pray Mincha, we're not going to spend too much time today, but this question could be the Bnei Yisachar alludes to it, and I want to explain with an introduction from the Sefat Emet in this week's parasha in Tafresh Mem Dalet, the year he wrote it. We say every week by Havdalah, we say Atachon Antanu. We say by Havdalah, Ben Kodesh Lechol, Ben Ol Lechoshech, Uben Yisrael Amim. There are three significant divisions and separations that are the most fundamental in the world. One is Ben Or Lechoshech, between day, light, and darkness. Imagine you had no day, no night. Every day will be cloudy. Cloudy is not enjoyable. What's the beauty? Beauty is a nice sun. So Hashem separated the sun and the night. And when Hashem created the world, he also did that. He separated the sun, the real light, with the darkness. And what did he do with that beautiful sun? He saved it for the Gazan Tzadikim La'atid Lavo. He saved it for the Tzadikim in the world to come. Where was the light that came to the world? The light was from Bet HaMikdash. Bet HaMikdash is Orosh Shel Olam. The light, it said, that when the menorah lit in Bet HaMikdash, it gave light to the whole Jerusalem, the whole world. You didn't need. That's why the windows in Bet HaMikdash were how? Big in the inside and narrow in the outside. And still, all the light went outside and it lit the whole place. So, big miracle. The light of the world comes from Yerushalayim. Says the Sfat Emet, there are three components that are necessity to a person in his life. Olam, Nefesh, and Shana. Olam means the world. Shana means the year. And Nefesh means the person. What does Olam mean? Hashem had to make a separation in the creation of the world. What was that separation? Darkness from light. Then there's Nefesh. Nefesh means in the soul. There's a difference between the soul of a Jew and the soul of a Goy. And Shana, there's a separation between Shabbat and weekday. Olam, Nefesh, Shana. Again, Olam is the world, sun and light. Shana is the year, Shabbat and weekday. And then there's nefesh in the person. There's a difference between a Jewish person and a goy. Says the Sfat Emet. This is an introduction to getting back to this point. It's fascinating. The main separation has to be between a Jew and a goy. Va'avdil etchem min ha'amim liot li. Hashem separated us to be distance ourselves from a goy. The minute a person feels separated from a goy, he'll feel Kiddushat Shabbat. A person goes Shabbat, and they think Shabbat is only one big day to eat. But they don't really appreciate the beauty of Shabbat. And the reason is because they don't understand this koach, this power of separation. The same way there has to be totally dark from night, separating a Jew from a goy totally, that's the only way when you know Shabbat is a total separation. It's just not day number 7. It's not just day number 7. We call Sunday in the Torah what? Day 1. Monday is called? Day 2. Day 6 is today, Friday. What do we? Shabbat is not day 7. Ubayom HaShevi'i Shabbat Vayinafash. It's considered, we refer to it, nobody says, oh, the 7th day of the week I'm coming over for dinner. I'm coming over when? Shabbat. Because Shabbat is not day number 7. Shabbat is separated from the 6 days. And if a person doesn't feel sometimes the koach, the Kiddusha of Shabbat, the simple reason is because he doesn't have that idea, that understanding that he has to separate his life from a goy. The more that a person feels the separation, that we are different, so memela, it comes out that day number 7 by us is also different. Day number 7 is not day number 7, it's Shabbat Kodesh. In the time of Chanukah, the reason why the Greeks had such an influence on the Jews is because we know Yafte Elokim Liyefet. The Greeks had something that was appealing to us. One of the things that they did was they were metargem. They translated the Gemara into Greek into Greek language. And what happened when that happened? Darkness, very good. There was darkness for 3 days straight. Why was it darkness? Because the whole significance of separation, the first time in the history of the world that there was separation between 2 items was dark and light. Guys, you have to follow with this. The first time that there was such a concept of separating good and bad was darkness and light, when Hashem created the world. Now, if you go and you say that the Greeks are also going to learn Torah, it means that there is no separation between a Jew and a Goy. We learn Gemara, they learn Gemara. So the minute that they were explaining the Talmud in Greek, so they said, "There's Jew. What's a Jew? Gemara, Torah. We also have Torah." So the nature of the world was chaos, and the minute that world became chaos, what happened with the world, with the original separation of darkness and light? There was no more darkness and light. It was only darkness. Because that beauty of having light and dark was out of whack. Because they were already taking over the light. They were taking over the Jew. The Greeks were trying to destroy the Jewish people. And they wanted to destroy us spiritually, much more than physically. Like the Tur brings down, what's the difference between Chanukah and Purim? Chanukah was they were trying to destroy us mentally. Purim, they were trying to destroy us physically. That's why when it comes to Purim, we drink and we have parties the whole time and everything. Some Chanukah, we don't have the partying like Purim. Chanukah is more supposed to be focused on the intellectual part of a Jew, focusing more on understanding the concept of what a Jew means, because they were trying to destroy the Jew in his mental capacity. What is the main thing that a Jew has to know that's unique over everyone else? That Hashem makes us separated from a goy. What did the Yevanim, the Greeks, wanted to do with Yavnim? They wanted to blend in with the Greek culture. They weren't saying that there's Goyim and Jews. We could all be one people together. We could all unite. One nation. That was one of the things that the Reform said, that we should all be like the country we're living in. They were taking away the beauty of Avdil Etchem Min Ha'amim Liot Li. And Hashem, until Mashiach is going to come, our main battle is to distance ourselves from a goy. To say we're different than a goy. A goy's style is not our style. A goy's hefkerut, a goy's wildness is not our style. And if you want to know something, there's nobody can say that he's pure from it. From the top of the list to the bottom of the list, we're living in a culture that we get influenced. But our challenge is, V'avdil etchem min ha'amim liot li. And the truth is, guys, everybody really wants to be like that. Because the minute you separate yourself from a goy, you feel much more of a quality life. You appreciate Shabbat Kodesh. You appreciate the light of the world that Hashem gives. The fight that the Greeks had with the Jewish people was a fight on the Va'avdil etchem min ha'amim liot li. It was a fight to take out the barriers, to break the barriers that separate the Jewish people from the Goy. They won that battle. There was a few hardline people, which we call them hardline, but they weren't hardliners. They saved the Jewish people. Who was that? The Maccabim, Chashmonai Ubanav. He went and he took his few sons. They had a little army, and they said, we see that they're infiltrating to us. They went, they had spy, all the people, the guys with the nice suits, the nice ties, they were living the life, they had their Bentleys. They were best friends with the Greeks. The Greeks weren't lowlifes. They were the highest society at the time. They had beautiful homes, beautiful houses, beautiful stadiums. Where did stadiums come from? You know where it comes from? The Greek culture. The whole entertainment business comes from them. The whole athletic idea of the strong body until you're 35, you could be a football player. All this came from the Greeks. All this came from the Greeks. They worshipped the body. If you didn't look good, they threw you away. They didn't care about you. If you weren't strong, let the lions eat you up.
You had to fit the part.
What? Yeah, you had to. So what was but they considered themselves very high society. And all of a sudden, the minute that the Germans were the ones who felt they were high society, what did the Jews want to do? Join along. Because we also want to feel high society. Even though we're much higher than them. We're much smarter than them. But they're saying they're high society, so we want to go join them. What does Hashem tell us? You want to join them? I have to bring you a Holocaust. You want to join them? They're going to destroy you. When did they win? When did the Jewish people win? When they separated themselves. When they came to that, he came with his kids and he said, we're not going to let this happen. Hashem says, okay, I'm saving you. That's what Hashem said, we're going to save you. What is the way to express the real feeling of the separation? By lighting the candle. The expression in the lamaisa, in the action of what it means to be separated from a goy, is we go to the beginning of creation. Chazaq HaKohen, Milublin, always says, if you want to understand the concept, you heard this a lot of times from me, you go to the first time in the Torah when it's mentioned. The first time when the Torah says that I separated something was darkness from light from dark. The light from dark that was in the creation of the world was a light that's burning in every single Jew till today. V'amech kulam tzadikim. Everybody has in the bottom over there that understanding that they want to be a real tzaddik. Sometimes it comes out in the wrong way. Sometimes it doesn't come out. And sometimes they don't even realize it. And a lot of people could go their whole lives without realizing it, that they really have that v'amech kulam tzadikim inside of them. When does it come out? When we light the 36 candles over the 8 days of Chanukah. Like we said, how many hours, right? How many hours did the light, that special light, that Or HaGanuz stay in the world? 36 hours. It was 12 hours of Friday when man was created, and Hashem gave him also the extra 36 hours of Shabbat. When did he start falling apart, Adam HaRishon? After Shabbat, he thought everything is going to be dark. Until what did he do?
He ate the fruit from Etzadah.
No. What did he do, Motzei Shabbat, when he saw that it was dark? He went and took 2 stones and he made fire. He created fire. That's why we say Borei Meorei Ha'esh on Saturday night, on Motzei Shabbat. If you realize it, even to Shabbat Av, when we don't make Havdalah, what do? We Borei Meorei Ha'esh. The only time we do Borei Meorei Ha'esh is when? Motzei Shabbat. We do Havdalah after Chagim, after the holidays. Do we do Borei Meorei Ha'esh? Why not? Because we're commemorating the fire that Adam HaRishon built, that made on Motzei Shabbat after the 36 hours. How many candles do we have? It's Yadua from Tzadikim that it's 36 hours that coordinates, that's the right word? No. It correlates with the 36 hours that Hashem created the world. So that light shows us that there is a special light of the Or HaGanuz. Rashi says that light of the 36 hours Hashem saw, that if everybody's going to be exposed to that light, it's going to cause trouble. And the Mefarshim explain, if you just want to understand a little bit depth, the Chidushei Harim says that if a Rasha looks at it and he infiltrates that light, it makes it weakened. Says the Chidushei Harim, his words are like this: Ki hu chesed elyon b'meshek anzu. It's a beautiful thing that Hashem hid it for the Reshaim. Shelo yivgemu haReshaim chas v'shalom be'oto Or HaGanuz. That the Reshaim, by them looking at it, by them infiltrating their eyes into it, they take away from the power. So Hashem said, I don't want to ruin this beautiful light. But Hashem, with God's grace, gave us 36 candles to enjoy that light. You know when? On Chanukah. You know why on Chanukah? Because that's when we stood out and we said we're not going to get influenced. We stood up to the world and we fought them even though we were doomed for disaster. With a few wise guys fighting a whole Greek army, an intelligent army, a strong army, full of lions. If you see in the Midrash that they say what was going on and what was crazy. But Hashem said, you give it, you say that I'm going to push them out of my lives. Hashem says, you know what? You push them out of your lives, I'll take care of you. And we're commemorating it with the creation of the first separation. We're commemorating it with the first time Hashem said, this is Ora Ganuz. These Hanukkah candles is not something that's regular. It's special candles. You know why it's special candles? Because it correlates with the creation of the first 36 hours. Because those are things that are only when we understand, like the Sfat Emet said, what's the most important thing in order to have separation in the world? When a Jew knows he's different. When he knows he's different, then everything, that he'll feel Kiddushat Shabbat, then he'll see the Ora Ganuz, then it'll come out the greatness that every Jew has in himself, Amir Kulam Tzadikim. So now that we're Zocheh to go to Shabbos Chanukah, the Shabbat with Chanukah, with lighting the candles, in Shabbat we have all three of them this week. We have the understanding of the separation of a goy from a Jew that you can have any time. You have the Shabbat Kodesh that separates Shabbat from the weekday, and you have the Hanukkah candles that refer to the light and the darkness. It's the only Shabbat of the year, the only day of the year, that you have all the three separations in one day. You hear this?
Highly recommend to go to the mikveh.
Highly recommended to go to the mikveh. Every Erev Shabbat. You know why? You know why? Why is it like that? They say that when Rabbi Zalman Meltzer came to Eretz Yisrael, he met Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, and he said to him, if you have to go to the mikveh, you go to the mikveh. But if you don't have to, why should I go? He says, if a mikveh could make a goy to a Jew, surely he could make a Jew to a better Jew. So the mikveh also represents separating a goy from a Jew. So I like what Yosef said. He added on that we should always make sure to go to the mikveh today. Because the quintessential day of separating a Jew from a goy is Shabbat. You ever thought of it? The Shabbat from weekday, the goy from a Jew, and the 36, the Ora Ganuz from the darkness. When else do you have that? Only the Shabbat. Every Shabbat you have two. This Shabbat was Zocheh to have three. Hashem should give us the opportunity to really see that light. We're only having a sense of a feeling of the light. That's why this light is the booster that we can feel Mashiach. Because this is showing us the light that we're going to see. Be'ezat Hashem, Uvahar Tzion, V'haya Kodesh, and we should see the Or Olam of the Binyan of the Beit HaMikdash, and we should have a Shabbat Shalom, and appreciate Shabbat that it's separated from weekday, the same way we separate ourselves from a goy. Chazaq u'baruch Rabbi Chananya ben Akashya Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות זה לפי קבע להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו ידיר תורה וידיר.